Hello and welcome back to Phrasal Verb News. In tonight's story, we're going to hear about a clever burglar who came up with a plan to steal some jewelry in Poland, but forgot to take one very important thing into account. That thing, that malls have security cameras. So this man went to a mall, dressed up as a mannequin, and hid in plain sight in the store window next to the other mannequins and waited for the store to close. Somehow he managed to fly under the radar and not be seen by any of the shoppers or staff working at the mall. After the mall closed, he wandered around the store for a short time, then picked up some jewelry and left the store. Now, police were able to identify him very easily using the CCTV footage from the store's cameras and actually linked him to 2 previous burglaries where he also found a way to hide in the store until close, then sneak out and steal money and merchandise. He was arrested and charged with burglary and could face up to 10 years in prison if convicted. Now on to the vocab. To come up with means to think of a plan or solution. For example, businesses spend a lot of time trying to come up with ideas for new products. Sometimes when I see a beautiful piece of art or a new invention, I think, how did they come up with that idea? Scientists and politicians are trying to come up with a way to fight climate change. When I was little, I always tried to come up with a plan to stay up late and watch movies. To take into account means to consider or remember something when making a decision. You'll also hear the phrase take into consideration. For example, when determining the sentence for the criminal in this story, the judge needs to take into account his 2 past robberies. Before buying anything big, there are many things to take into account, such as price, quality, and whether or not you actually need it. The man was late to his meeting because he failed to take into account the traffic. If you're married or in a serious relationship, you always need to take into account your partner's feelings and opinions before making a major decision. To dress up means to wear a disguise or costume or to dress very fancy for a special occasion. For example, every year for Halloween, people like to dress up in different costumes. For example, right now to make this video, I am dressed up. People like to dress up to go to business meetings, dates, church, and other important events. To fly under the radar means to not be noticed. This phrase comes from the military, where planes try to fly low to the ground so they can avoid detection from the radar system. For example, some people who are very wealthy want to be famous, and others want to fly under the radar. Many people try to fly under the radar at their work to avoid being given extra assignments. I enjoy finding artists and musicians who are under the radar, meaning they're not very popular yet. Another example, many criminals use untraceable phones in an attempt to fly under the radar and avoid being caught by police. To wander around means to walk around somewhere with no purpose. For example, whenever I go to a new city, I like to wander around and explore the streets. When I was in high school, it was very popular for all the kids to go wander around at the mall after school. Cats really like to wander around and explore the local area. Pickup has many meanings. The example used in this story means to obtain or to get something. For example, on the way home from work, I stopped at a store to pick up some milk. I saw some money on the ground, so I stopped and picked it up. The man stepped in dog poop because the owner of the dog didn't pick it up. It can also be used to talk about acquiring new skills. For example, many people pick up English by watching the TV show Friends. You could say, he picked up a British accent after living in London for 10 years. During the COVID lockdown, many people picked up new hobbies or skills. It can also be used to talk about giving someone a ride or bringing someone somewhere. For example, I asked my friend to pick me up from the airport, but he didn't show up, so I had to call a taxi to pick me up instead. He told his date he was going to pick her up at 7 o'clock. That's all we got for today. Subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.